Luis Arraez is absolutely dominating the MLB. And the best part is that he's not hitting the ball the hardest. He's not hitting the ball the farthest. But yet he's leading all MLB in batting average with the league leading batting average of 444. So in this video, we're going to talk about how is he doing it and how is he hitting more consistently than Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge. How is he doing that? See, there are 3 keys that's making him consistent. And in this video, we're going to break those 3 keys down. Now, if you're new here, I'm former MLB player Jermaine Curtis, and I help players hit the ball harder, farther, and more consistently. And if you're struggling to be consistent, I'm giving away a free swing breakdown where I break down your swing and I'll tell you what you need to do or what steps you need to take to be more consistent. If you're younger than 18, have your parent click on the link below in the description so that I can break down your swing with no problems. So with that being said, before I get into the breakdown, what I want to say is that a lot of you have talent. A lot of you can hit, right? You guys have that hit ability too. It doesn't matter who's on the mound. But a lot of you want to hit for power, and what you're doing is you're trying to do everything you can to hit for power, and what you're doing is blending in. Instead of doubling down into what makes you great, you're trying to blend in and follow the pack. So my recommendation to you before we even do this breakdown is to double down on what makes you great. That's the reason Luis Arraez is who he is because while everybody's trying to fit in, he's found a way to have value and stand out from everybody else. Now, a lot of you will say, well, they only care about power. And I agree, the game's changing, they want power. But if you can hit, and every game you show up and you're hitting, people will notice. And if you're a player that wants to play in college, this is the game that I would recommend to you because coaches need to win. And if you're that player that can square up baseballs consistently, you're going to stand out. And they want that player. They want a winning player. And that's what Luis Arraez is. So with that said, let's jump into the breakdown. So the first key is that he stays in the middle of the field. And we know this because if you look at the stats right here, he hits 25% to his pull side, 57% up the middle, and 17% to the opposite field. And if we look at his previous years, it's really high up the middle. So his approach is to hit the ball up the middle of the field. And I looked all over the place and I was like, I need to find a video to share with you what he's doing. And I found the video. I'm going to share with you his batting practice. And you can see in this batting practice how he's staying in the middle of the field. See how he's staying in the middle of the field? It's a good swing. As you can see, he's not trying to hit it anywhere but the middle of the field, working right back up the middle. Now, hitting in the middle of the field allows you to make good decisions as a hitter. If they start throwing off speeds, if they start throwing, different pitches that try to get you off balance, you're working in the middle of the field, so you're still able to make the adjustments to square baseballs up. And this is what I preach to a lot of players because when I was younger and I was struggling with my consistency, I heard the story of a guy named Chuck Knobloch. And if you guys don't know who he is, this guy used to bang the baseball around. He used to hit base hits just like Luis Arraez. He was one of these contact guys that would just hammer the baseball. Well, I heard in his batting practice routine that, and let me switch it over to that view again. I heard that Chuck Knobloch in his first round would try to hit the L screen, and he would hit ground balls to hit the L screen. Then the second round he would hit the top of the L screen, and then the third round he'll hit it over the L screen, and then the fourth round he would try to burn the center fielder. And so all his hits were right back at the middle. He didn't try to go to center, he didn't try to go to right field, didn't try to go to left field. It was straight up the middle. And when I started thinking about that, I'm like, there's a lot of hits up the middle, and if you can beat the pitcher, then there's a lot of base hits for you, which brings me to my second key, which is he aims low. Now, you guys may think, well, you see him take these BP and he was hitting balls high, but in the game, he's aiming real low. And we know this because we can look at his launch angle. If you look right here, you'll see that he has 11.6 launch angle. And this is about a little bit higher than the shortstop or second base on a line drive. When I seen this launch angle, some light bulbs start to go off in my head. Well, back in 2018, I played with the Minnesota Twins, and one of the drills they would do is they would bring the L screens, all the L screens, and we would all be hitting around the turtle, right? And they would put the L screens up, and it was about a little bit closer to picture infield in, right? And then the L screens would be about, I would say, 10 feet closer than if a player was playing infield in. And so all the L screens are now all the way around blocking the infield. And our goal was to hit it above the L screens. They said that if you hit it above 9, so that's about, higher than a shortstop or second baseman jumping up to try to catch the ball, then that's a base hit basically 99% of the time. And that's the reason why he hit so high, because he got really good and hitting higher than those L screens. Now, that's just a little drill, a little thing that they would do with the Minnesota Twins to have fun and to work on something in batting practice. But it paid off. You can see that he's one of those guys that keeps the ball low and keeps it up the middle of the field so that he can get a lot of base hits. Now, the last key I want to talk about is that he stays inside the ball to the point where he'll fight off pitches that he probably should turn on. And even if you look at this pitch right here, this was a pitch where it got in on him and he still fought it off. And this was one of those balls that he blooped in to the middle of the field. So just like you've seen in his batting practice where he was working up the middle, this pitch is inside on him and he's still working back up the middle. Look at this pitch. And then he fights it off and he bloops it in for a base hit. Now, this was like one of the only videos I could see from the side angle, but this tells you everything you need to know about him. He would do whatever it takes to keep that bat or his hands inside the baseball and work up the middle through the baseball. And this is causing him to become one of the leaders in, hitting. And he's one of the best contact hitters in the game. Now, I will say this. If you're a hitter out there and you aspire to be more consistent, one of the things you need to do is be able to hit a fastball. It doesn't matter how hard a pitcher is throwing, you need to be able to hit a fastball. And Luis Arraez is that guy. Since he's not a power threat, he gets pitched to differently than most guys. They're going to come right after him. And this is why his strikeout rate is so low, because they're throwing fastballs right after him because he's not a power threat. Now, for him to succeed in this game, he has to be able to hit that fastball. And he does. He annihilates it. Well, I wouldn't say annihilate it, but he hammers it. And when I say it, I wouldn't say annihilated. He doesn't have the highest X velocity. He doesn't hit the ball the hardest, but he barrels balls up and he puts them in play to the point where he gets a lot of base hits. And that's what you want, right? You want a player that's going to allow you to win. You want a player that's going to play hard for you every single night. And that's the type of player that he is. And he's going to have a long career in this game because he knows his game. He dials in every single day on it and he doubles down. And that's the reason why he's having so much success. And when you have this type of game, it takes longer for people to value you, but all he needs to do is keep doing his thing, and people are going to stand up and say Luis Arraez is one of the best players in the game. Now, they may not be saying it now, but they will say it. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I'm former MLB player Jermaine Curtis, and I enjoyed making this video. Let me know your thoughts. And if you're struggling to be consistent, take advantage of the free swing breakdown that's only available for a limited time. With that being said, thank you so much, and I'm out.